The rain hammered the streets of Brooklyn like it had a personal grudge, turning the gutters into raging rivers that swallowed everything in their path. I was fumbling with my keys under the awning of my walk-up when I saw him. Crumpled against the brick wall across the street, his face a mask of blood and shadow, one arm twisted at an impossible angle. Jordan, my ex of a year, the man who'd shattered me without ever raising his voice, whispered my name like a curse as lightning cracked the sky, and in that split second, I knew silence was the only promise I could keep. I didn't call out, didn't rush over with questions or accusations. The storm drowned everything anyway, so I crossed the flooded sidewalk in 3 strides, my sneakers splashing up filthy water that soaked my jeans to the knees. He was heavier than I remembered, his body limp against mine as I hooked an arm under his good shoulder and dragged him toward the door. "Alex," he mumbled again, eyes fluttering half open, glazed with pain and whatever pills he'd probably scavenged to dull it. His breath reeked of cheap whiskey and regret, but I said nothing, just shouldered the door open and hauled him up the narrow stairs to my 3rd-floor apartment, the whole time wondering if this was karma or just the universe's cruelest joke. Inside, the place was a mess of half-finished sketches and takeout containers, my life in chaos since he'd left. I eased him onto the couch, the old leather creaking under his weight, and flicked on the lamp that cast a warm, unforgiving glow over the gash on his forehead and the bruises blooming purple across his jaw. His jacket was torn at the elbow, shirt soaked through, revealing the tattoo we'd gotten together on a whim in Provincetown. 2 interlocking waves, symbolizing how we'd crash into each other and somehow stay afloat. Now it looked like a scar. I grabbed the first aid kit from under the sink, the one I'd bought after our last fight when he'd stormed out, and I half expected him to come back bloody from some bar brawl. Irony, thy name is hindsight. Kneeling beside him, I peeled off his wet clothes with clinical detachment, shirt first, then jeans, folding them over a chair like they were someone else's laundry. He stirred once, mumbling about deadlines and those guys at the rally, but I shushed him with a finger to his lips, the first touch we'd shared in months that didn't end in screams. The cut on his temple needed stitches, but I wasn't dragging him to the ER. Not with the questions that would follow, not with his family still pretending he was straight for their Upper East Side dinner parties. Instead, I cleaned it with antiseptic wipes, the sting making him hiss through clenched teeth, and taped a butterfly bandage across it. His ribs were tender when I probed, probably cracked, so I wrapped them tight with an ACE bandage, my hands steady even as my heart hammered like the rain outside. By midnight, he'd passed out cold under the quilt I'd pulled from the closet, the one we'd fought over buying at that flea market in Chelsea, him insisting on the garish floral pattern because it made me laugh. I sat on the floor beside the couch, nursing a lukewarm coffee, watching his chest rise and fall in shallow rhythms. Why him? Why now? We'd ended it in a torrent of words, me accusing him of choosing his career over us, him firing back that I was too scared to fight for what we had amid the whispers and stares from well-meaning friends who thought 2 guys like us were just a phase. He'd packed a bag and vanished to chase a story in D.C., leaving me to pick up the pieces of a life we'd built in stolen moments. Lazy Sundays in bed, his head on my chest as we debated indie films, the way he'd trace my collarbone with his thumb like it was a map to somewhere safe. Sleep evaded me, so I sketched instead, pencil flying over paper, capturing the curve of his bruised cheek, the stubborn set of his jaw even in unconsciousness. It was therapeutic or masochistic, I couldn't decide. By dawn, the storm had ebbed to a drizzle, gray light filtering through the blinds like an apology. Jordan groaned, shifting, and I was there with water and ibuprofen before his eyes fully opened. He blinked at me, confusion knitting his brows, then memory flooded in. "Alex, how did I?" His voice was gravel, throat raw. I held out the glass, avoiding his gaze. "Drink. No more, no less." He took it, fingers brushing mine, and for a heartbeat, the room shrank to that point of contact. Electric, forbidden. He sipped slowly, wincing as he sat up, the quilt pooling around his waist. Last thing I remember is the protest downtown. Some assholes with signs, then fists flying. I ducked into an alley to call a car, but they followed. His free hand ghosted over the bandage on his head, eyes darkening. "Thanks. For this." I nodded, turning to the kitchenette to start coffee, anything to break the spell. The machine gurgled like it was choking on the tension. He'd been at a rally, LGBTQ rights march in Manhattan, the kind we'd gone to together back when holding hands in public felt like rebellion. Now, here he was, battered by the very hate we'd sworn to outrun, and I was the one patching him up. Fool me twice. Or was this the universe handing us a do-over wrapped in gauze? He eased off the couch, testing his weight on the bandaged arm, and limped to the bathroom. I heard the shower kick on, water pounding like my pulse. When he emerged, towel around his hips, hair dripping, he looked almost like the Jordan I'd loved. Vulnerable, real. "I didn't mean to end up here," he said, voice low. "My phone died. I was walking, thinking about everything. Ended up blocks from your place by accident." "Lucky accident," I muttered, handing him a mug. "Our fingers didn't touch this time." He sipped, eyes on me over the rim. "Or fate. You always said I was too cynical for that crap." I snorted, leaning against the counter. "Still are." But the words lacked bite. We stood there, steam rising between us like a veil, the city waking outside with horns and sirens. Friendship? No, we'd burned that bridge. Enemies? Too tired for that. Whatever this was, it hung fragile in the air, waiting for one of us to shatter it. The morning stretched into an uneasy truce. I called out sick from my freelance gig, another logo deadline that could wait, and rummaged for clothes that might fit him. My stuff was too snug on his broader frame, but a hoodie and sweats would do. He dressed in the bedroom, emerging with that sheepish grin I'd once mistaken for charm. "Smells like you in here," he said, inhaling deeply. "Missed that." "Don't." The word was sharper than intended, and he winced, rubbing his ribs. Guilt twisted in my gut. "Sorry. Just eat something." I pushed a bowl of oatmeal his way, the kind with too many blueberries because he used to tease me about my health nut phase. We ate in silence at the tiny table, forks scraping like accusations. Outside, the drizzle picked up again, pattering against the window like impatient fingers. Jordan broke first. "My editor's gonna kill me. That story on the rally, it's half written, and now this." He gestured vaguely at himself. "Hate crime angle, ironic twist. You gonna write it?" I asked, surprising myself. He met my eyes, something raw flickering there. "Have to. Can't let them win by scaring me silent." I nodded, stirring my coffee absently. That's what had always drawn me to him. The fire, the refusal to back down. Even when it meant late nights at the desk while I waited alone, resenting the glow of his laptop screen more than I ever admitted. Good. Another pause, heavier. "Alex, about us." "Not now." I stood, clearing plates with unnecessary clatter. "Rest. Doctor's orders." He chuckled, low and pained. "Since when are you a doctor?" "Since you showed up half dead on my doorstep." I shot back, but there was no heat. In the living room, I set him up with pillows and the remote, flipping to some mindless sitcom rerun. He dozed off mid-episode, head lolling, and I watched him for longer than I should, tracing the lines of exhaustion etched deeper than before. What had DC done to him? Or was it me, the ghost I'd become in his stories? My phone buzzed. Mia, my best friend since college, the lesbian firebrand who'd held me through the breakup with pints of ice cream and vicious rants about toxic pretty boys. "Lunch. Spill." I texted back, "Busy. Rain check." Her reply was instant. "Bullshit. Who's the emergency?" I ignored it, pocketing the phone. Mia would see right through this, demand I kick him out before he could worm his way back in. She wasn't wrong. I'd spent months rebuilding walls higher than the Brooklyn Bridge. Afternoon brought a fever, Jordan's skin hot to the touch, shivers racking him despite the quilt. I dosed him with Tylenol, sponged his forehead with a cool cloth, the domesticity of it all twisting like a knife. Flashbacks hit unbidden. That weekend in the Catskills, him sick with flu, me playing nurse with soup and bad jokes. "You're stuck with me now," I'd teased then. Now, it felt like a prophecy. As dusk fell, he rallied enough to talk, halting stories of the attack, the slurs hurled like stones, how he'd fought back until a boot to his side dropped him. "They took my wallet, phone. Left me for dead in that alley." His voice cracked, and he looked away, jaw tight. "I thought of you. First thing. How you'd say I was an idiot for going alone. You are." But I sat closer, our knees brushing. "Proud you fought, though." He turned, eyes searching mine. "Missed fighting for us." The words hung, a grenade with the pin half pulled. I stood abruptly. Sleep. In the kitchen, I gripped the counter, breath coming short. Rewrite? No. We'd tried, failed spectacularly. Yet here I was, caring without a word, because some part of me still believed in the man under the bruises. Night deepened, the city a distant hum. I crashed on the armchair, sketches scattered like fallen leaves, dreaming of waves crashing, not interlocking, but pulling us under. The next morning dawned clearer, sunlight slicing through the blinds like a hesitant invitation. Jordan was up before me, perched on the edge of the couch in my sweats, staring at his bandaged hands as if they belonged to a stranger. Coffee brewed itself in the pot. I must have set the timer sometime in the haze, and he poured 2 mugs without asking. The ritual so ingrained it bordered on muscle memory. Black for you, he said, sliding it over. Still can't stand cream. I took it, fingers lingering on the handle. Some things don't change. The words escaped before I could cage them, and his mouth quirked in that half-smile that used to undo me. We sipped in companionable quiet at first, the kind that follows storms, wary but alive. Outside, Brooklyn buzzed with weekend energy. Kids shouting in the park below, a street vendor's cart rattling with fresh bagels. Jordan broke the ice. I owe you an explanation. For showing up like this. For everything. Not owed. I set the mug down, tracing a scar on the table from that time we'd burned dinner trying to impress each other. Just glad you're not dead. He laughed, then winced, hand to his ribs. Fair. But seriously, Alex. DC was a mistake. The job, the distance, it ate me alive. I chased stories to avoid the one staring me in the face. Us. I leaned back, arms crossed. You chose it. Late nights, weekends gone. I get ambition, Jordan. Hell, I admire it. But when us becomes collateral. The old hurt surfaced, sharp as glass. His eyes dropped. I know. Thought I was protecting you from my chaos. My family's bullshit. Dad's still on about finding a nice girl at holidays. Figured if I kept moving, it wouldn't catch up. He flexed his bad arm, testing. Turns out, it does anyway. The rally. The attack. It wasn't just random. It was the world reminding him, and me, that love like ours came with teeth. Your folks know? I asked, voice neutral. He snorted. About the beating? Yeah. I called from a payphone before the battery died completely. Mom sent prayers and a check for therapy. Dad. Radio silence. Bitterness edged his tone, the kind that had simmered between us before, when he'd vent about their conditional affection while I bit my tongue on my own family's indifference. Divorced parents who barely noticed I existed, let alone dated men. I stood, rinsing mugs to fill the silence. You need a doctor. For real. X-rays or something. I'll manage. He rose too, closer than necessary, his clean soap scent mingling with mine. Stay with me today? Just until I'm steady. Against every screaming instinct, I nodded. We spent the morning like ghosts of ourselves. Him flipping through my sketchbook with genuine awe. This one's killer, the Queer Icon series. Me chopping veggies for soup, our shoulders bumping in the tiny kitchen. Laughter slipped in uninvited, over a spilled onion that rolled under the fridge like a runaway marble. Remember the time in that diner? Mustard everywhere, he said, eyes crinkling. How could I forget? You looked like a crime scene. We both chuckled, the sound foreign yet familiar, easing the knot in my chest. Lunch was vegetable broth and toast, bland, nourishing. Over it, stories flowed freer. His scoop on a corrupt senator that nearly got him fired, my freelance when designing posters for the Pride Parade that had Mia crowing for weeks. Saw it online, he admitted. Proud of you. He crept up my neck. Thanks. Then, tentative, missed your bylines. That piece on trans rights in the South, brave. He shrugged, modest. Had to. After what happened with us, I needed purpose. Us. The word landed like a pebble in still water, ripples spreading. Afternoon found us on the fire escape, legs dangling over the alley, sharing a cigarette I bummed from the neighbor. Bad habit we both swore off post-breakup. Smoke curled lazy into the blue sky, and he turned to me, expression unguarded. I never stopped loving you, Alex. That's the truth I ran from. My exhale trembled. Love's not enough when it's poisoned by doubt. I stubbed the cig, ash scattering. You left. I begged you not to. I know. His hand found mine, tentative, and I didn't pull away. Thought space would fix it. Instead, it carved me hollow. We sat like that, palms pressed, until my phone shattered the moment. Mia again, voicemail lighting up. I ignored it, but guilt gnawed. She deserved better than my evasion. Friend drama? Jordan asked, thumb stroking my knuckle absent-mindedly. Best friend. Thinks you're poison. Honesty slipped out, raw? He withdrew his hand, stung. She's right. I was. No. I caught his wrist. You were scared. We both were. The admission hung, heavy with possibility. Back inside, he napped fitfully while I paced, sketching feverishly. His profile, the vulnerability in his sleep. What if this was a truce, not a trap? Evening brought takeout, Thai from the spot down the block, pad CEW, and spring rolls steaming on paper plates. We ate cross-legged on the floor, backs against the couch, trading bites like old times. Conversation veered deeper. His therapy sessions in D.C., unpacking the closet he'd half-stepped out of for his family's sake. My volunteer gig at the youth center, mentoring queer kids who reminded me too much of us at 20. One boy's got your fire, I said. Writing manifestos against conversion camps. Jordan's eyes softened. Sounds like trouble. Good trouble. Then, quieter. Wish we'd had that. Mentors, space to breathe. We made our own. But the words tasted bittersweet. Night fell soft, city lights twinkling like distant stars. He dozed early, pain meds kicking in, and I curled in the armchair again, watching him. The pull was magnetic, dangerous. Mia's text buzzed, emergency or excuse. Call me idiot. I typed back, both. Talk tomorrow. Sleep came fitful, dreams of alleys and accusations blending into one endless chase. Morning light woke me to Jordan's stirring, color returning to his cheeks. Better, he murmured, sitting up. Think I can hobble to the corner store for eggs? Together. The word surprised us both. We dressed, him in borrowed jeans that hung loose, me in my usual hoodie and sneakers, and ventured out, his arms slung over my shoulders for support. The block was alive. Dogs on leashes, moms with strollers, the bodega cat eyeing us suspiciously from the counter. Jordan grabbed a basket, tossing in eggs, milk, even chocolate, my weakness. At checkout, the clerk, a grizzled guy with a rainbow pin on his vest, winked. Date night supplies? Jordan flushed, but grinned. Something like that. Back home, he scrambled eggs while I set the table, domestic ease wrapping around us like fog. Over breakfast, he broached it. What if we tried again? Not the same, better. No running. My fork paused. And the misunderstandings? The what-ifs that tore us apart. We talk. Like this. Every day. His gaze held steady, earnest. I want to rewrite it, Alex. Our ending. Heart pounding, I reached across, lacing fingers. Maybe. One day at a time. But as we cleared plates, my phone rang. Mia, insistent. I answered, her voice a whirlwind. Finally. What's the crisis? Wait, is that Jordan's voice in the background? Busted. Yeah. Long story. Alex, no? Remember the nights you cried? The he's not worth it talks. I know. Jordan watched, tension coiling in his shoulders. But he's hurt. I couldn't. Leave him to wolves? Noble. Stupid. She sighed. Come over later. Bring him if you must. We hashed this. Hanging up, I faced him. Trial by fire. My friend's place. He nodded, resolute. Deserve it. The walk to Mia's in Williamsburg was slow, Jordan leaning on me, autumn leaves crunching underfoot. Her brownstone loomed welcoming yet ominous, doors swinging open to reveal her, short-cropped hair, tattoo sleeves, arms crossed like a bouncer. Well, if it isn't the prodigal asshole. But her eyes softened on his bruises. Jesus, what happened? Inside, over tea that steamed like tempers, truth spilled. Jordan recounted the attack, voice steady. Mia grilled him on intentions, me silent referee. You broke him, she said flatly. Twice over. I did. He met her stare. Plan to fix it. If he'll let me. She glanced at me, searching. Your call, babe. But don't let nostalgia blind you. The afternoon stretched into raw honesty, laughter amid tears. When Mia shared her own breakup war stories, the three of us bonded in shared scars. By dusk, tentative alliance formed. Walking home, Jordan squeezed my hand. Thanks for the backup. Always. But doubt lingered. a shadow on the sidewalk. That night, as he slept sound, I texted Mia, scared, but hopeful. Her reply, good. Fight for it. Days blurred into a fragile rhythm, Jordan's recovery mirroring our tentative rebuild. Mornings started with coffee and quiet confessions. His fear of commitment rooted in a high school coming out that ended in exile from his childhood friends. My own walls built from a string of hookups that left me hollow before him. Thought you were different, I admitted one dawn, sunlight gilding his healing bruises. The one who'd stay. I wanted to. He traced my palm with his fingertip, mapping veins like rivers. Panicked when it got real. Family dinners where Dad grilled me on prospects. Mom's sidelong glances. Easier to bolt than face it. Empathy warred with resentment. I faced it alone. Pride floats. Brunches with friends who asked, when's the wedding? Like we were straight couples playing pretend. He winced. Selfish. Won't happen again. Afternoons were for errands. Pharmacy runs for antibiotics. Park benches where we'd people watch and dissect passers-by like a game. That guy's definitely bi, he'd whisper, nodding at a hipster with a subtle rainbow keychain. I'd counter with stories from the youth center. Kids navigating identities in a world still laced with barbs. One evening, over falafel wraps on a stoop, he asked, ever think about adopting? Down the line. The question landed soft, revolutionary. Yeah, with the right person. Our eyes met, futures flickering unspoken. But cracks showed. His phone charged, work emails flooded in, demands for the rally piece, deadlines looming. Got a file from here, he said one night, laptop open on the coffee table, fingers flying. I nodded, retreating to sketches, but resentment simmered as the glow isolated him again. By midnight, he was still typing, oblivious to my size. Jordan. He looked up, startled. Sorry. Almost done. It's fine. Lie. The distance echoed our past, a ghost in the room. Mia's place became neutral ground. Weekly dinners where she'd prod us gently. Communication check. On a scale of 1 to therapy bill, her sarcasm a shield for care. One night, wine loosening tongues, she shared her girlfriend woes. Elena, a chef with trust issues from a cheating ex, loves messy, Mia said, clinking glasses. But worth the stains. Jordan nodded, vulnerable. Learned that the hard way. Walking home, arm in arm, he stopped under a street lamp, pulling me close. You're worth every mess, Alex. Kiss came natural, soft, searching, tasting of Merlot and promise. We broke apart breathless, foreheads touching. Slow, I whispered. Please. Whatever you need. But his eyes burned with hunger held in check. Surprises crept in subtle. A package arrived. His sister, Lila, who'd always been the ally in his family, sending clothes and a note. Heard about the rally. Kick ass, bro, tell Alex hi. Owe him for that time in college. Jordan read it aloud, voice thick. She remembers you. Warmth spread. Family's not all bad. Then the twist, his editor called, offering a remote gig. New York-based, covering local queer issues. Stay, he asked, hopeful. Heart swelled. Try it. But conflict brewed external. My parents, distant as ever, phoned unexpectedly, mom's voice tinny over the line. Heard you're seeing someone? Finally settling. Subtext, straight, stable, son they could brag about. It's complicated. I glanced at Jordan, eavesdropping from the couch. Bring him to dinner. Vet him. Dad chimed in, gruff. Panic flickered. Soon. Hanging up, shame burned. Jordan's brow furrowed. They still don't know? About you? No. About me, barely. Admission stung. Afraid they'll confirm what I fear. I'm not enough. He crossed to me, hands on shoulders. You are. To me. We'll face them together, or not. Your pace. Gratitude choked me. But prejudice's shadow loomed larger when news hit. The rally attackers identified. One a cop's son with ties to a hate group. Protests erupted downtown. Jordan pulled in for interviews. I have to go, he said, eyes fierce. Voice for the voiceless. Careful. Fear gripped. Not alone. He kissed my temple. Promise. I tagged along. Mia too. Our trio weaving through crowds chanting for justice, signs bobbing like lifelines. Tension crackled. Counter-protesters jeered from sidelines, slurs slicing air. Jordan spoke to a camera, voice steady. This isn't abstract. It's my face, my ribs. But we rise. Pride swelled, mixed with terror. As dusk fell, scuffle broke out, fists, shouts. We retreated, hearts pounding, to a dive bar for decompression. Over beers, Mia toasted. To survivors. Jordan clinked, then turned to me. To second acts. Home late. Adrenaline crashed into intimacy. Not passion, but closeness. Him curled against me on the couch, head on my chest, my fingers in his hair. Love this, he murmured. Us, rebuilding. Me too. But sleep brought dreams of jeers, families turning away. Week 3, climax brewed. Jordan's piece dropped, raw, unflinching, naming the hate without flinching from personal cost. Backlash hit. Anonymous threats online, his family's radio silence fracturing into dad's curt email. Stirring pot again? Think of your mother. Jordan read it aloud, voice breaking. Same old. Pretended away. Rage ignited. Fuck that. Call them. He did, speakerphone on. Me beside him, Mia patched in for moral support. Dad, it's out. The article. The attack. All of it. Pause. Then, son, we saw. Prayers, but. Optics. Election year. Optics. Jordan's laugh was bitter. I'm gay, Dad. Beaten for it. Your optics almost killed me. Silence stretched, then Mom's sob. We love you. Just. Come home. Talk. No more hiding. Click. He sagged, tears tracking. I held him, rocking like a child. Proud, I whispered. So proud. Mia texted, warrior. Dinner on me. But the call stirred my own storm. Parents again, insistent on that dinner. Bring your friend, Mom pressed. We want to meet him. Dread coiled. Jordan squeezed my hand. I'll go. If you want. Resolution flickered, confront or cower. Together. The dinner loomed like Judgment Day, my childhood home in Queens, a pressure cooker of suburbia. Drive there was tense, Jordan's knee bouncing. What if they hate me? They won't. Lie half true. At the door, Mom hugged stiffly, Dad shook hands formal. Table set pristine, roast chicken, potatoes, facade cracking under small talk. Then, inevitable. So, Jordan, Dad said, fork poised. What do you do? Journalist. Just published on a hate crime, my own. Air thickened. Mom's eyes widened. Dad cleared throat. Brave, but dangerous line. It's my life. Jordan's tone even. Alex's too. We're together. Beat. Mom reached, tentative. We support that. In our way. Dad nodded, gruff. Just want you happy, son. Not perfect, but a start. Cracks in the wall. Driving back, relief washed. See? Manageable. Jordan grinned. Teamwork. But surprises lingered. Back home, envelope waited. Lila, with tickets to a queer theater fest. Date night. Make it count. We did, laughing through plays on love's absurdities, his head on my shoulder in the dark. Post-show, over gelato, he knelt sudden, ring box from his pocket. A simple band, engraved waves. Rewrite with me? Forever. Tears blurred. Yes. The reconciliation deepened, but shadows lengthened. Mia and Elena hosted a survivor supper, their loft in Bushwick a haven of string lights and vegan lasagna. Elena, with her sharp wit and scarred heart, eyed Jordan skeptically at first, heard you like to vanish, but warmed over stories of her own restaurant battles against homophobic suppliers. Love's like a souffle, she said, pouring wine. Rises if you don't poke too hard. Jordan chuckled, refilling my glass. Noted. Laughter flowed. Easy. The four of us toasting to poking anyway. Walking home, hand in hand, Jordan whispered, your people, they're gold. Family, I corrected. But work intruded next day. My freelance client, a mid-sized ad agency, buzzed with gossip. Colleague Derek, closeted queen with a venom tongue, had spotted us at the theater, posted a snide X thread. Spotted. Designer dude back with his runaway beau. Desperate or delusional. Queer drama. Notifications exploded. Comments ranged from supportive hearts to run, Alex, Barbs. Humiliation burned. At the office pickup for files, Derek smirked. Heard you're trending. Careful, rehab romances crash hard. Fuck off. I snatched papers, storming out. Home, Jordan found me seething over laptop. What's this? He read, paling. Shit. I'll post a clapback. No. I slammed shut. It's out there. Us exposed. He pulled me close. Good. No more hiding. But doubt festered. That night, rummaging for laundry, I found it, tucked in his jacket pocket, a folded letter from M, postmarked DC. Miss your fire. Come back. Always yours. Heart stopped. Fling. Recent. Confrontation brewed silent until dinner. Pad thai cooling untouched. Who's M? Paper crumpled in fist. Jordan frowned. What? Letter. DC. Always yours. Voice cracked. Realization dawned. God, Alex, no. Old. From months ago, before I knew I was done running. He dug phone, showing deleted texts, therapy notes. My counselor's exercise, write closures. M was a mistake, one night after a fight with you. Over before it started. Relief ward with hurt. Why keep it? Forgot. Or, reminder of rock bottom. Tears welled. Trust me? Please. I nodded, pulling him into hug. Trying. Growth hurt, but rooted deeper. Thanksgiving loomed, my parents insisting on family first, code for probe the boyfriend. Their queen's split level felt smaller, walls closing as mom fussed over turkey, dad nursing scotch. Jordan charmed at first, complimenting her pie, debating sports with dad, but undercurrents swirled. Dessert brought the balm. So, boys, dad said, pipe puffing smoke rings. When's the wedding talk? Or is this experimental? Air sucked out. Mom shushed, but damage done. Jordan stiffened. I choked on pie. Experimental? Dad, it's real. He waved hand. Love's love, but society's not ready. Protect yourselves. Protect. Jordan's voice steel. From what? Your judgment. Dad bristled. Practicality, son-in-law, or not. Explode. I shoved chair back. Enough. We're done pretending for your comfort. Stormed out, Jordan following, tires screeching away. Home, sobs racked. Lost them. No. He held tight. Gained truth. Surprise softened blow. Jordan pulled lease printout. Found this. 2-bedroom in Brooklyn. Ours if yes. All. When? Now. But climax crashed. Call from DA. Attacker's trial tomorrow. Jordan key witness. Testify, they urged. Fear clawed. They'll come for you. Worth it. Eyes fierce. Court day dawned cold. Us in suits. Mia, Elena flanking. Gallery tense. Attackers sneering from dock. Jordan's testimony. Calm. Devastating. Detailed blows. Slurs. Resilience. Cross-exam vicious. Provoked. Flaunting lifestyle. Objection overruled. Gasps. But he held. Voice breaking only once. I flaunted survival. Verdict. Guilty. Outside. Hugs. Cheers. But my fear lingered. What if next time? Then we fight. Kiss sealed. Fierce. Aftermath glowed. Mia's not wedding. Bash in her loft. Streamers. Cake iced. Rewrite happy. Gathered our tribe. Youth center kids. Lila flying in. Even Elena's crew. Toasts flowed. Mia's to idiots who learn. Lila's bro. You deserve this. Dancing barefoot. Jordan twirled me. Whispering. Our ending. Authored together. Parents' letter came week later. Mom's script shaky. Sorry. Learning. Visit. Progress. Fragile. Jordan launched Waves Unbroken podcast. Voices like ours amplified. My designs boomed. Pride series going viral. Rooftop. 1 year on. Anniversary of that rainy night. Stars wheeled. Took care of me. He said. Bandaged then in memory. Without a word. Would again. Ring glinted. Waves eternal. Rewrite complete. Beginning. Kiss under city lights. Love's drama yielding to dawn.